The morning had begun without mercy. Cold stone under his back, the smell of damp straw and iron. He lay awake, counting his breath as the first voices swelled outside. Merchants shouted, wheels rumbled over cobbles. He knew that this day would be his last, and his heart beat calmly, as if tamed by his long imprisonment. Images rose up in his mind, the river of his homeland, his father's narrow boat, the rough bark of the trees on the border of the empire. He felt over the scar on his left cheek and sat up. The light fell in a narrow strip through the lattice, dusty particles dancing in it like tiny gnats in summer. Footsteps approached, the clink of a bunch of keys, a hoarse voice. He stood up before the bolt retracted. Today he would see the arena, no longer as a shadow in the tunnel, but the bright oval of sand. He wasn't ready, but being ready had never meant anything here. He breathed calmly. His day had begun. They gave him water for his face and arms, a quick, sober act, more duty than mercy. A bowl of bread and a few figs he forced down, though his stomach was tight. An attendant checked his shackles. Another fitted him with a simple leather belt and provided him with equipment, worn but serviceable. A round wooden shield with an iron hump, a short spear, and a gladius at his hip, blunt from use but sharp enough. He hefted each piece, feeling for weight and balance, wrists gyrating. The hum of the city turned to a roar as the hour approached. In the distance, he heard trumpet practice, a dry echo over the corridors. A man with chalk was drawing signs on a wax tablet, matter-of-factly, as if it were about sacks of grain. First people, then animals, the warden's gaze said, without the need for words. He nodded curtly. He knew the law of the sand. Keep pace, breathe, observe. Never feed fear. They led him through the low corridor with others. Iron to iron, step by step. The air was thicker down there, a mixture of animal, smoke, old blood, and cold stone. Above him the world rolled, and through narrow embrasures noise penetrated like surf into a cave. An older prisoner prayed silently. A younger one bit his lip until a red dot appeared. He kept his eyes forward on the wooden door with the iron grill, behind which bright light flickered. Under his thumb, he felt the notches on the edge of the shield, counted like a talisman. He organized the noise in his ears, searching for patterns, for pauses in which he could breathe. The soft snap of animal tethers, the squeak of a wagon, the sharp clack of a helmet. As they passed an opening, he saw sand glistening like bright flour and a strip of sky hard and blue. The ground vibrated from the pounding of the crowd. He shifted his shoulders to reset the weight of the spear, sensing calm in the habit of the gesture. The door burst open and the light hit him like a wave. Sand underfoot, dry, smelling of leather, dust. The oval was bigger than it had been in his dreams. Rows and rows of faces, blurred like petals in the wind, only the colors and the movement, a breath coming from 1,000 throats. High in the shadow of a canopy sat the stadtholder, motionless, like a painted star. Trumpets blared and the sounds soared like birds. He raised his shield, not as a greeting, more as a reflex, and felt the sun on his shoulders. Dark wood rested at the edges of the sand, the bars of the animal cages, men with hooks and fire. A gesture ordered him to his place. A white cloth signaled. His mouth was dry, but his hands were firm. The game had begun, and he stood in it like a stone in a river, washed by the current, but not yet swept away. The first opponent confronted him, lean with restless eyes, a short scimitar in his hand, without armor, his stride too quick. Not a gladiator of school and rank, but a man the city was using as a plaything. They circled each other. He let the shield guide him, checked his stance, waited for the tremor in the other's foot. When the blade jerked down at an angle, he raised the edge, let the iron slide, and thrust with the spear. Not a deep thrust, just enough to break the rhythm. Breath against breath. The shouts of the crowd swelled, demanding, impatient. He followed up, driving his opponent to the edge where the planks blocked the way. A lunge, a blow with the shield pommel, the man fell to his knees and hands. He hesitated for a heartbeat, looking for the sign of mercy. Nothing came. A guard's spear stabbed warningly into the sand. He did as he was asked, quickly and unceremoniously. When the body lay still, he heard his own breathing again. He was alive, and that was enough for the next moment. The pause was brief, barely more than a sip from a leather bottle held out to him by an assistant. Then came the next fight. 2 men this time, roughly armed, a stick with an iron ring, a knife, both nervous, both dangerous. He dodged sideways, never keeping them in line, forcing them to interfere with each other. The first struck hard, hitting only shield and air. The second came in low, aiming for the legs. He jumped, yet felt the cut on his forearm, warm and sharp. He countered with the shield, hitting ribs, hearing the man's breath catch. The spear worked like a baton, keeping its distance, stabbing without wasting. A fall, sand in his teeth, up again, muscles beginning to burn. He searched with his eyes for an exit, but found none. At the edge, some laughed, others screamed with joy, still others turned away. When he hit the last one, not fatally, he paused briefly. Again, no sign of mercy. He drew the gladius, and finished what he had been instructed to do, narrowly, without looking back. His blood mixed with the sand, but his legs still carried him. The sand was raked away, but the marks remained as pale scars. Another gate creaked, deeper, heavier. The air changed, as if a thunderstorm was approaching. A lion slipped out of the shadows, not leaping, but softly, as if it knew the stage. The fur flickered in the light, the muscles rolled under the skin. His heart beat calmly, faster only when the animal's breath reached him. He raised his spear, shield close to his body, and dodged sideways, always sideways, letting the lion make the circle smaller. A roar rent the air, the crowd bent forward. When the paw came, all he saw was gold and dust, the blow crashing against the shield, driving him back. He thrust, flat, hitting flesh, not deep, enough for pain. Men on the edge shouted, waved torches. The beast retreated, circled, found the center again. Another run, another fall, a crack on his hip, hot but not fatal. He stayed on his feet, and when the tamers opened the gate and drove the beast back, he stood there, breathing, injured but upright. The sun had sunk a little, and his strength sank with it. He felt his skin burning under the harness, his legs growing heavy. The sand clung to his sweat and blood as if he had tried to hold it in. A new gate opened, and muffled footsteps came. Slower, more massive. A bear stepped out, dark, bulbous in its fur, with small eyes that nevertheless saw everything. His spear suddenly felt thin, his shield too small. He breathed, planted his feet carefully, looked for wood and posts, for an angle that would give him time. The first attack was a thrust, the force of a tree trunk. The shield groaned, the arm burned. He set the spearhead, the bear roared, the wood cracked, a fine crack ran along the shaft. He swerved, stumbled, and caught himself. One more time, he thought, just one more time. The bear came, deeper, and the spear broke. He fell backwards, and the sky opened as a blue sheet above him. In that look was the river of his childhood, his mother's voice, the creaking of the boat. The sand was soft and the roar was lost in the distance. When the dust settled and the noise died down in waves, what remained of his day was more than just blood in the sand. He had stepped into the arena as one of many, a name without an echo, and yet he had shown what dwells in a man when the world wants to make him a symbol. He had hesitated where others cried out for exhilaration, had acted where fate remained silent. In every breath there was duty, in every movement a small decision for attitude instead of despair. His last gaze had not sought the stones of the Colosseum, not the cool shadows of the tears, but the sky that belongs to all. His path was traced, an arc of fear, courage, pain, and dignity. So this day reflected the realm that engulfed him, order and art, cruelty and hunger for spectacle. and it reflected what the empire resisted despite everything, the quiet perseverance of a single heart. In the evening, a slave swept away the traces, but what had been born and suffered remained in the memory of those who saw and in the silence that followed. I hope you enjoyed this journey to another time. If you like, feel free to write a comment with topic suggestions. With a like and/or subscription, you make more videos like this possible. Thanks for watching and see you on the next historical dream trip.